Good afternoon, everyone. It's me, Pascal, again. Basically, we thought it might be a good idea to start a video series where we can just show you, based on requirements we get from our customers and partners, from our support system, but also during projects, to showcase you how easy it is to solve certain requirements or like challenges with our product InterformNG2. The plan is that it's really informal. On a regular basis, we just want to record some videos and share them with you without a lot of post-production, all of that. But basically, let's get started. I have one example with me here, and the example would be that, hey, I have JSON, or the requirement could be that, hey, I have JSON output or can create JSON files from my ERP system, and for example, for an invoice. And how can I get those JSON files into a nice looking PDF format, like an invoice PDF, send it out via email, but also create a PDF file for archiving and all of that. And basically, this is what I've prepared for you here. So what you can see on my screen on the right side in Notepad++, you will see an example JSON file. This JSON file mainly contains a little bit of header information, like an invoice ID or an invoice number, a date, but then also a mail to with my email address. So you can imagine I want to send a printed result later or the PDF result to this email address. Then it contains, of course, a lot of line items or detail lines, which is usually pretty standard in an invoice. And at the end, you can see when we scroll down, it will also contain some footer information. In a real world scenario, of course, an invoice would contain even more information, but I think this will do the job for now. So how can we process this in InterformNG2 and get to our goal? Basically, what you can see on the left side is our product InterformNG2. InterformNG2 is a platform-independent output management solution, which you can run wherever you want. Could be in the cloud, could be on a Windows installation or server, could be on Linux or on an H400. It's always the same product. You will only access it with a browser. In my case here, Microsoft Edge, but you could also use Firefox or Google Chrome or so. You don't need to have any, local tool, designer tool or so. Everything is in here. Basically, the product consists of different areas, but as this is not a full product tour, so I will just focus on the important things. So what do we want to do? We want to convert this JSON file into a printed PDF. In order to do that, I have set up a workflow, and the workflow here does the following. When I open it, you will see it. It will get a JSON file, your JSON file from the ERP or an e-commerce platform with this REST Web Service basic component. It will convert it into an XML. The XML is then saved internally inside the library here, so we can refer to it as a sample file. And then it will do two things. It will create a PDF email and it will create a PDF document. And in order to showcase this, because of course I don't have an e-commerce platform just here on my local PC, I will show you an example with a HTML file. Basically, this HTML file, I can just paste some data and then I can send it to this web service, to this workflow. And let's see what happens. So I will just copy and paste it in here. I will click on send. And I get a blank page back. So this is actually what is set up in Interform. So what you can see here in the multicast, it will create a PDF email and it will create a PDF document. But right now there's just a template and I open it called blank page. So it will just return a blank page to the web service. At the same time, I got an email also, with a PDF attachment, but that is blank. And now I want to show you how can we set up an easy template inside InterformNG2 to get to the goal. So I will open the designer here. I will create a new template. And I can do that just by clicking on the top button here. And now I have a blank page. The first thing I will do is I will get some sample data because then I can map data. So what you can see on the left side is similar to the JSON file, that is just the XML. So I have the same data here. And now, in order to create a document or to create my template, I could, of course, just use drag and drop because it's a WYSIWYG designer. So, for example, I could just take the invoice idea and drag and drop it here, you know, change the font size, do some positioning and all of that. I could do that. But I have a better idea. So we will just delete this here. We will, first of all, structure our template with a header section and a body section. And then we will save it. And we just call it invoice JSON, JSON 003. Still a blank page with a sample data. Now, what we deliver with our product is some generic components you can use inside of the designer to help you speed up the template creation process. That means in the top section here, you will see a button called components. I can click on that. And here there are a lot of just basics or standard components you could use for your designs. For example, there's a header invoice 002, which is just a component. You know, you can see with like already a table and a logo and all of that. But of course, without any data, just with some placeholders here. So I could, first of all, what I will do is I will unlink it. So I will not destroy anything here. I will do a save again. I will do the same for the body. So I can also click on insert, choose a container. I will choose the, where is it? The body invoice. Same here. Again, I will unlink the container. I will save it for now. I could do a PDF preview. It looks the same here actually. So again, I just have an empty, more or less empty template with just some written text. But now I want to do some mapping. So how can I do the mapping? First of all, I can just double click on the text and change it to a different fixed text. But of course, I also want to map data from the XML or JSON file. So in this case, I want to have the invoice number from the input file. I will do a double click. I will change it to expression. And then I will pick the correct tag from the XML file. So the invoice number. I will do the same for the customer number, or customer ID, invoice date, and due date. Now, the header is all more or less done, I would say. Now we come to the body section, and the body section, of course, is a little bit more complex because I want to iterate across the line items or detail lines. Because in the end, if I have an invoice with 200 detail positions, then I also want to have like a page overflow and all of that. So the first thing we're going to do is we have a repeat here already prepared. So we can just click and open that. And we will change the expression. So in the XML, we want to iterate across the line items. Apply. What this will automatically do is it will change the results view here, which is, of course, WYSIWYG. So the same as you would see in the PDF result then. And it will directly like iterate across it. So I think I have 20 positions inside my JSON file. So it will like repeat it for 20 times. But now, of course, I also want to change the content. So I want to change to the item ID, description would be here, the unit, which is probably the name here. What else do I have? The quantity and the price. And finish it off with the amount here. What we will not do in this video is any additional formatting. You know, you could, for example, concatenate information. You could like add some currency signs at the end and all of that. We will not do that, but that is of course pretty easy because you have the full XPath here you can use. The same we will do for the amounts here. So we have the net amount, which is called here the invoice amount. We have the tax rate. and we do, which is down below, we have the tax amount. And we have a total amount, which is in here. Perfect. So this is basically the the template now. I can do a PDF preview here quickly. I will see that I have 20 items. It will repeat. I have some header information. I think that looks good for now. So now, in order to also implement it in the workflow, I will go back to the workflow, go into the create PDF email here. And here, as you can see, the template was a blank page. I will just click on that and change it to invoice JSON 003. What you will also see here is there is some configured attachment name and email subject and all of that. And that is also a concatenated information. So I have a string invoice underscore, then I will concatenate it with the invoice ID, and then I will have a .pdf at the end. The same goes for the subject and all of that. Can I click on apply? Same for the PDF document that is returned to the web service endpoint, and I will click on save. Now, what we're going to do is we will go back to our HTML document and send the same file again. And what you can see is I will get the PDF file, including all the data mapped from the JSON or the XML file in here. Automatically, what it will also do is it will log all of this in our job logs. So I will go to the job logs, and you can see I tested a lot this morning. It will showcase each step from the workflow here. So I receive content from the web service. I will convert the JSON to XML. I do the payload to resource, a multicast, and then I have my email here with all the metadata, and I will also have the PDF which is returned to the endpoint. Also, there's an email log which is not activated right now, but that is also pretty basic. It will then show all the emails that are logged. I think at the same time, I just got an email. Let's quickly open that here. Yes, you can see that. So I got an email in my mailbox from Interform with the subject we have set up with some mapped information in the HTML signature and with the PDF file including all the data. Quickly, one last thing I want to show you here is, as I said, you can also use the designer here to create mail signatures, so you don't need an external HTML document when you send emails. So you can build this up in here, you can map data from your input files, you can add logos and all of that, and then you're done. Well, that is basically the first video here, I would say. See you next time, and have a nice weekend.